Maudsley Hospital is a psychiatric hospital in Camberwell, South East London, and it's here my brother collects his medications each month and also has his blood tested every 3 months. I had the misfortune of having an appointment with a mental health worker at Maudsley a few years ago because London's Metropolitan Police Force, back in 2017 and 18, had the sinister habit of making psychiatric referrals for me as part of these illegal targeting operations. Those other earlier appointments, or more accurately psychiatric reprisals, were not at Maudsley but in East Dulwich, though that place has since closed. I've had no contact with the police or mental health since, but have visited Maudsley Hospital a few times in the distant past to collect meds for my brother when he was too unwell to collect them himself. A few days ago, Barry collected his meds and had some blood taken. I'm not familiar with any of the pharmacy staff and wouldn't recognise any if they said hi. So it was a surprise when my brother said that they were asking how I was. Why would I be asked after when I've had so little contact with Maudsley Hospital? I have little faith in mental health. I have no faith in the Metropolitan Police. There doesn't seem to be any psychiatrist nor mental health professional who is willing to watch and listen to my videos showing evidence of my pariah status, so I can only surmise they are helping the police cover up my targeting rather than doing what they are supposed to do, which is help people. That said, I believe mental health might take a special interest in what happens in the next week or two, though they won't be alone in that interest. Barry, my brother, bailed me out again financially, and I was able to recover the car that I sleep in, which was towed away on the 12th of this month. I was told it would cost £260, or if I arrive later than 8 AM, £360. And not wanting to burden my brother with that extra £100, I began my ride early the next morning to ensure I arrived before 8. The car was in a compound in Edmonton in North London, and it's good I left so early because my navigation skills are useless. But I did finally arrive and was there approximately 7:30 AM. When the small cabin office opened at 8 AM, I produced the documentation, pulled out 260 quid in cash, only to be told by a female behind the counter that they don't accept cash. I asked her if she knew the whereabouts of a Santander, and she told me the name of a road where there's a post office, but said that I wouldn't get back in time, and so it would then cost me £360. My early morning brain found this difficult to take in, and I said to her that this was a bit of a nightmare, and my facially challenged features must have had some effect, along with my pleading that I'd been here since 7:30 and had ridden all the way from Peckham, because she relented and said that I would only need to pay £260 after all. Relieved for both my brother and myself, using my trusty A to Z, I began riding towards the direction of the post office, and a mile or so into my ride realised I was going the wrong way. About an hour later I returned, having put the money into my account, and saw a second female in the cabin, and she processed my fine. She was nice and friendly, and once I had driven the car out of its temporary prison, I stopped outside close to the cabin, re-entered and thanked them both. The drive back to the underground car park was not an enjoyable one, and I don't really enjoy driving anyway. The car, before being impounded, had developed worrying noises, and I prayed in my atheistic way that it wouldn't suddenly conk out. It didn't, and the car is now back underground. Aside from any potentially expensive mechanical problems, the ultra low emission zone has been expanded since last Monday, so the car is now within that extended zone, and if caught by a Transport for London camera, it's a minimum £80 fine. I could pay the daily charge, which is £12.50, but in truth I can't afford either. Sleeping in the car underground has not stopped the burning sensations and pains to different parts of my body, which I believe are a consequence of my being targeted. The residents within Vida House above do know about my pariah status. I'm certain of that. Last night I took the car for a short drive and stop around the local roads that I recently used to park and sleep on. And much as I wanted to stay and park up for my sleep, I couldn't risk another towing away, so drove back to my underground car parking space, and whilst turning into the slope that leads to the car park, was met with this unusual sight. I've encountered two naked or near naked people in public areas at night. One was a totally naked female walking in the cold of a winter's night last year in Peckham, and I initially rode past her before deciding to turn around and ask if she was okay. She said demons were after her, and being the gallant gent that I can be, I took off my hoodie and asked her to put it on, and then walked with her and my bike heading towards Peckham Police Station, which is the only thing I could think of at the time, and a young guy also riding a bike and seemingly equally concerned joined us. And once we arrived, I pressed the intercom to speak to someone at the station, and no one answered. And whilst doing so, she ran off. And though we did try to find her, we failed. Gang stalkers come in different flavours, but all, I presume, receive some form of recompense for their proactive part in our targeting. From those who partake in the verbal hit and runs that I get, those that make lots of deliberate, targeted noise and general triggering scenarios at one end, to the sadistic, perverted knuckle draggers that includes some of my neighbours. But this naked or near naked guy I doubt was one of my gang stalkers. This unseen voice as I lay in the back of the car in the underground car park, I'm sure, is meant for me. The words that I do hear right at the beginning are, "He must die," though I don't hear what's said after that.